Today's topic of discussion is sulfonamides and cotrimoxazole. Sulfonamides are actually the first derivatives, or they are called as first antimicrobial agents. They are the large group of chemicals and they have a structural resemblance with the PABA, that is para-aminobenzoic acid. This is what the structure of the sulfonamide, and they are the derivatives of the sulfonylamides. They are very effective against pyogenic bacterial infections. Because of the emergence of resistance and availability of the safer drugs, the use of the sulfonamides is being limited. Now, rarely it can be used. Comes to the mechanism of action of this sulfonamides. As I mentioned, these sulfonamides have a structural resemblance with the PABA, that is para-aminobenzoic acid. So, in the synthesis of the tetrahydrofolic acid, they get incorporated in place of the PABA. Now, the PABA, pteridine and glutamic acid, this three is going to give rise to dihydropteroic acid in the presence of an enzyme dihydropteroate synthase. Also, sulfonamides are believed to block the enzyme called dihydropteroate synthetase. So, due to the blockade, there is no production of a dihydropteroic acid. Upon continuation, that is without blockade of a dihydropteroate synthase, the formed dihydropteroic acid will be added with the glutamate, which is going to give rise to the dihydrofolic acid. This dihydrofolic acid has to be reduced in the presence of an enzyme called dihydrofolate reductase to tetrahydrofolic acid. Now, this tetrahydrofolic acid, it is very essential component which acts like a this tetrahydrofolic acid acts like a cofactor in the synthesis of the DNA. So overall, this sulfonamide, as it is blocking the dihydropteroate synthase, as well as it is going to be added in place of a PABA. So whatever the tetrahydrofolate or folic acid synthesized will be a altered one, so which causes the injurious to the microorganism. This is how it will inhibit the growth of the microorganism, because sulfonamides are bacteriostatic in nature, they are not cidal, so they will just block the or inhibit the further growth of the microorganism. This is what the mechanism of action. Comes to the classification of the sulfonamides. Based on the target, we can classify like for systemic use, oral agents, use on GIT, and for topical purpose. For systemic purpose, further, depending on their duration of action, it is divided into three subclasses: short-acting drugs, intermediate-acting drugs, and long-acting drugs. So, short-acting 4 to 8 hours, it is effective up to 4 to 8 hours. Intermediate 8 to 12, whereas long-acting up to 7 days. Examples for short-acting drugs: sulfa-isoxazole, sulfa-methizole, sulfacysteine. Intermediate acting drugs: sulfamethoxazole, sulfadiazine. Long acting drugs: sulfadoxine. And some drug can be used to treat infections or any wounds on the GIT. Example: sulfasalazine and olanzapine. Some drugs can be used for the topical purpose, that is any cut, burns, or any infections on the skin. Example: sulfacetamide and sulfadiazine, mefenide. These are the drugs which can be used for topical purpose. Comes to the spectrum of activity. As we all know, spectrum is nothing but whether it is active against only gram-positive or a negative, against what all organism it is effective. This sulfonamides, though they are bacteriostatic, but we could get cidal effect, that is cidal concentration in the urine, because these drugs have a tendency to get accumulated in the urine. And in addition, the sulfonamides are broad spectrum in nature, that is, they are effective against both gram-positive as well as gram-negative organisms of Enterobacteriaceae organisms. And also, it is producing a good activity against E. coli, moderate activity against Proteus mirabilis, Enterobacter species, poor activity against Klebsiella, and there is no inhibitory activity against Pseudomonas aeruginosa. That is, it is not having any effect against the Pseudomonas aeruginosa. This is what the spectrum of activity. Comes to the resistance. As we all know, the definition of resistance, it is unresponsiveness produced by the microorganism to the drug. So this drug, sulfonamide, is resistant against Pseudomonas aeruginosa, pneumococci, as well as gonococci organisms. The reason or the resistance is mainly attributed due to the reduced bacterial permeability to the drug, where the drug will fail to enter into these bacteria, and due to the increased production of PABA. As we have seen in the first slide itself, this is a structural analog to the PABA. In some cases, like presence of the pus in the body, the PABA concentration is more. So more the concentration of PABA, this increased concentration of the PABA will displace the sulfonamide from the binding site. So leads to the resistance. Another mechanism of resistance is production of an altered dihydropteroid synthase. So the sulfonamide will be having less affinity towards this altered dihydropteroid synthetase. Next mechanism of resistance is active efflux of a drug. That is, soon it enters the microorganism, it will be effluxed out of the cell. These are the mechanisms of resistance. Comes to the pharmacokinetics of sulfonamide, it is rapidly as well as completely absorbed from the GIT. We could see peak serum level within 2 to 6 hours. It is also rapidly distributed throughout the body, process the placenta, as well as it can achieve some concentration in the CSF, that is cerebrospinal fluid, undergo metabolism by the process acetylation as well as oxidation, elimination through the urine by the process glomerular filtration, followed by tubular reabsorption. Some of the adverse drug effects and drug interactions of sulfonamides are as follows. It tends to cause aplastic anemia, bilirubin displacement, that is, it displaces the bilirubin from the plasma protein, crystal urea, that is, it tends to deposit it in the urine, so it which leads to which looks like a crystal urea, rashes. Since it is undergoing metabolism by acetylation, so it causes the systemic lupus erythematosus as well as it causes the hemolysis. We can remember the adverse drug effects of this sulfonamides by a simple mnemonic, that is ABC rash. Some of the drug interactions. This sulfonamide inhibits the metabolism of some drugs like phenytoin, tolbutamide, warfarin. Since it is inhibiting the metabolism, so enhances the concentration as well as the duration of action of these drugs. And sulfonamide is not effective in the presence of the pus. As I told, this pus will be rich with the PABA, which will displaces the sulfonamide from the binding site. So there is no effectivity produced by the sulfonamide in the presence of the pus. Comes to the clinical uses of the sulfonamides, though the use is it's very limited because of the adverse drug effect as well as due to the emergence of resistance, but still it can be used in the treatment of the acute but uncomplicated UTIs, which is caused by E. coli. Sulfadoxin, which is one of the sulfonamides, can be combined with pyrimethamine to treat a malaria, to treat infections due to the burn. The mainly silver sulfadiazine can be used to treat ocular infections, sulfacetamide, and to treat ulcerative colitis, that is infection or inflammation on the GI tract. The drugs which can be used to treat ulcerative colitis are sulfasalazine and olsalazine. This is what about the sulfonamide. The next small topic is cotrimoxazole. Actually, this cotrimoxazole is a fixed dose combination of two drugs. One is sulfamethoxazole and another one is trimethoprim. Always it is combined in a ratio 5:1. That is 5 concentration of sulfamethoxazole with 1 concentration of the trimethoprim. This combination, that is sulfamethoxazole and trimethoprim, these two drugs having a similar half-life, so these two drugs have been chosen for the combination purpose. And this combination is bactericidal, unlike sulfonamides, which are bacteriostatic in nature, but this combination drug is bactericidal. The ratio 5:1, as we could see, the range means the ratio, different ratio between the sulfamethoxazole and trimethoprim. This is due to the difference in the bioavailability of their plasma concentration. Generally, they'll attain in 20:1 ratio, that is 20% of sulfamethoxazole has to be combined with 1% of the trimethoprim in order to obtain a bioavailability. Now comes to the mechanism of action, why it acts like a bactericidal, because of the sequential blockade. This is same as that of the sulfonamides, where pyridine going to give rise to dihydropteroic acid in the presence of the PABA with the help of enzyme dihydropteroid synthetase. As we have learned, sulfonamide will block the enzyme dihydropteroid synthetase. And if at all, due to any altered enzyme, that is dihydropteroid synthase, or any mutation or lack of the effectivity produced by sulfonamide, dihydrofolic acid will be formed, and this trimethoprim, which is the second drug in the combination, going to block another enzyme called dihydrofolate reductase, thereby prevents the reduction of dihydrofolic acid into tetrahydrofolic acid. So lack of reduction will fail to act like a precursor cofactor in the synthesis of the thymidine, which is essential for the synthesis of the DNA. So sequential blockade, as it is blocking the two steps in the synthesis of the tetrahydrofolic acid, so it is called a sequential blockade. Because of the sequential blockade, it is able to produce a bactericidal effect. This is what the mechanism of action of cotrimoxazole. Comes to the pharmacokinetics, it is well absorbed from GIT and peak level reaches within 2 hours. Its half-life is 11 hours. It has larger volume of distribution because it is highly lipid soluble in nature. Undergo metabolism by the liver and elimination through the kidney. Within 24 hours, it gets eliminated by the body. Clinical uses of this cotrimoxazole, it generally used to treat gastrointestinal infections, genitourinary respiratory tract infections, chronic and recurrent UTI, and it is a FDA approved drug for the treatment of the UTI in both children as well as adults. Can also be given to treat a traveler's diarrhea due to the E. coli, and used against pneumocystis carni, that is, which causes a pneumonia, especially in AIDS patients. So these are the clinical uses. Adverse drug effects and some of the drug interactions of this cotrimoxazole. It causes CNS disturbances, skin rashes, blood dyscrasias, megaloblastic anemia only upon long-term usage. It is contraindicated in pregnancy, and drug interaction. It tends to increase the plasma level of dapsone, warfarin, methotrexate, zidovudine, and sulfonylureas, because it's going to block a CYP enzyme, which is essential for the metabolism of these drugs. Comes to the spectrum, it is also having a broad spectrum activity, but it is resistant to the Staphylococcus aureus. Resistance generally develops due to the alteration with the dihydrofolate reductase enzyme, or might be due to impermeability, that is, the drug fails to enter into the bacterial cell, or overproduction of the dihydrofolate reductase enzyme. So this is what about the cotrimoxazole and sulfonamides. So yeah, thank you.